Best player you've seen?
It's funny because Butch Hart as as the guru. I call him the guru in my articles. I even call him the guru of Texas high school volleyball. And I wouldn't know 1/90th of what I know now without Butch. I met him in '99 during the Westwood High School state championship run. And so I asked him that question. I said, because I want to give your viewers a really good answer, not just my answer, because
Yeah.
I haven't covered volleyball as much as near as long as Butch. He's been doing it since '83. I really kind of started in '99. So to give you an idea, Butch's wall of fame, if you will, of players is Demetria Sants from John Jay, 1995, led Jay to the state championship in '91. She was an Olympic champion, won the Olympic gold medal, and won the college national championship. Second, Heather Schreiber of Windthorst, same thing, amazing player, led Windthorst. Windthorst, by the way, winning the state championship last year at state, now has the most state championships for a school in 14. And she was just an amazing player, according to Butch. I did see Veronica Wall. She was a high school state champ. She was a college national champion and another Olympic gold medal. So if there's a Mount Rushmore of volleyball players, those three are definitely on it. Yeah. Now, get back to the point you make. Butch and I differ on some things. And when you ask me what's the best player I've seen, I go specifically high school, specifically doesn't have to win state champ, just all around best player, Alon McCall of Rouse. She's a one person army. In baseball, they talk about, like 5 tool players, whatever.
Yeah.
Easily. She could do anything. She could do everything. And unfortunately, they lost in 17 to that classic matchup against Prosper that Aaron Kaufman and Prosper won. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was a shame not to see her do that. And when you talk about players, it's hard to, forget Holly Campbell of Westlake. She won a high school championship and then went on. She's won two national championships rather at Stanford. Allie Battenhorst, who of course real recent with Seven Lakes High School. She's just an amazing player. And then you talk about setters, Jesse Grisham from Wimberley back in the day, 3 straight state championships. Bree and Danielle Barker, I think, get overlooked. They were amazing setters for Jan Barker, who still holds the record for the most state championships with 10 at Amarillo. Then you get Lori Grody, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year back in '99 with that Westwood National State Championship team. And I'll finish it out. I know that's a lot longer than you wanted.
Keep it going.
But the one player that you always have to mention when you talk about greatest players of all time, it goes to Karen Keeney and Hebron. Annie Benbow, 3-time state champion libero for Hebron, was one of the most amazing players ever. Now, you talk about, Alon McCall, you talk about the hitters. She couldn't do that. But, man, I'll tell you what, coaches had to plan their offense around Annie Benbow when they were playing Hebron back in the day, and you just couldn't. She would always find a way to make a dig, to make a great save. She was actually a pretty good server too. I talked to Annie over the summer. I did a story on another Piper Mackinnon of Argyle, who's going to be really good. I talked to Annie, and she said that she just, remembers her days at Hebron fondly. So, and real quick, currently, Macaria Spears of Wedwood, Prestonwood. Yeah, Prestonwood. Truly, Alon McCall-ish, if you will.
Yeah.
And they've already won state championships. So
they're going to win one this year too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So there's your 6A prediction right there for Tabs.
Yeah.
And then you have Henley Anderson at Dripping Springs, which, of course, Michael Kane and the Dripping Springs Tigers won the 6A championship last year. She is absolutely amazing as well. So, when you talk about best players ever, there's kind of a laundry list, and we've got a couple coming up. And as you know, because you've been doing this for a long time, you won enough, Sports Writer of the Year awards as well with different organizations. you never know what you're going to get coming into the season. And there's 5 things. To me, I have a little rule since I've been in journalism since 1984. You always learn 5 things every season that you didn't know going into the season.
Yeah. And I about Makara Spears, I'd love to go out and watch Preston win one of these days this year because, obviously she's a talent, Gatorade Texas Player of the Year, but that team is so loaded with Coach Ryan Mitchell. So, Suli Davis comes to mind from Colleyville Heritage. She just she can jump over that net, and she plays great defense. You talk about Bree Barker. I mean, with Paige Flickinger and Chamberlain. I mean, these girls can play. There's some really good girls. It's hard to pick one, but I approach though that Mount Rushmore approach.
And that's the other thing too. You mentioned Chamberlain, and who was the other?
Flickinger, Paige.
Yeah, you talk about combinations. If you get into combinations, that's 2 entirely different podcasts. I mean, oh my God, there have been so many great combinations of players. Like Henley Anderson last year with Mackenzie Flante of Dripping Springs. And oh, by the way, they had a great libero in Taylor Tiemann. They had a great middle in Natalie Arnold. So, again, you can just do an entirely different series of podcasts about teammates who just rose above.
You can do a whole hour on just that.